I have structured my presentations, giving the glimpse of, what are the issues, how big economy of the world is, where India is, and where we are going, what is the potential of your Indian economy, and where you can use and how DLF begin a journey from, I think 1989, where we built DLF Center, happens to be one of the best building in India. And we use all kind of basically technology, right from conventional to the modern technology, which can bring enhancement in productivity, and it can also bring a lot of return to the business. So I would like to show you something which will definitely put a lot of stress in your minds. Would you like to do business in this kind of environment or not? So every one of us might have gone through all these issues, and these are all the prevailing issues in the industry. Now think about it. Would you like to do business in this kind of environment? Is it not a relevant issue for all of us? The question is, wherever there is a crisis, there is always opportunity, and you have to raise your level, and you have to prepare in the industry to bring solution for the various stakeholders. Now, if you see the way the development has happened in the past, India happens to be one of the biggest economy during, 1 century AD, and this has been documented by Paul Baroque and Angus Madison, which many of us, I don't think we are aware about it. Anybody is aware about all this data? No, even I was not aware. At the age of 45, when I went to one of my alumni meet in Harvard Business School, Boston. So I got to know all this data, and then I started exploring from where it came. So they were number one economy with 34% of GDP share, and China happens to be the second, and this journey went up to 1750. Even during Mughal period also, India was second, China was number one economy. And it took about good 1700 to remain a robust economy. And I would like to bring to your notice how fast the technology has changed and how you see the rapid change in GDP. So first it took about 1750, and in the next 150 years, the US and UK having only 2% world GDP share during 1750, and they became number one economy, US during 1900s. And if we add US and UK, it was almost the same what number you see, 56% about 1750 year ago. And then US took over. Now the next rapid change which is happening is even faster. I think in 80 years, if you see India and China, China liberalization started during 1979, and India started 1991. You can see China's economy now, it is almost about $13 trillion. So if you see the nominal terms, it is about $90 trillion, your nominal terms GDP of the world, and in PPP terms is about $137 trillion. So out of that, in nominal term, China is holding about 13%, roughly $13 trillion, and US is $22.8 trillion. And if you see in the PPP term, China has already taken over, and India is third now, and there is a potential that maybe by 2040, India will become number one economy in PPP terms. In nominal term, definitely will be third. So my basically perspective is, how technology is basically disrupting. You can see the impact, how fast things are changing. The CZ earlier happens to be here, if you see US and UK, during basically in 1750, and now the CZ has shifted. So are we prepared to do business in this kind of environment? What is the need of the hour? We definitely need basically the technology on our side, which is going to help you to basically produce the best of the best results. This is again one of the data which is compiled by Bert Hoffman, and these are the data from century 1 to 2050. The data which I told you is exactly same. It is also compiled from same Angus medicine. So I would like to tell you where DLF was. In 1989, this building was basically concluded, and we did it with conventional system with beam and slab combinations, and L&T happens to be the contractors. And then this is the stage where we are. I mean, this is one of the best building which is produced in residential. It's about 3.66 million square foot. And we had about 20 stakeholders, the main one, and if you see the consultant is about 45 consultants. This is Crest, and this is Club, and this is Camellia. This is the best in super luxury. And these two buildings, if you compare in terms of safety, structural safety as well as fire life safety, this is the best building in the world. Even your Burj Khalifa, your World Trade Center, nowhere close to it. This is already reaching to immediate occupancy. Most of the developers, they don't design building for immediate occupancy. Our DLF standard was, even if this area is under Zone 4, we were raising up to Zone 5. So anyway, all structural design is done as per Zone 5. And with smart detailing, it has been done in a such way that it is reaching to immediate occupancy. And for that, we engaged one of the consultant, Kazima from Japan and TT from New York. And the assessment came that it is reaching to immediate occupancy. No developer in the world does basically immediate occupancy building. This is Horizon Center. Again, this was done with basically flat slab structure. So let's see where we are in terms of conventional and basically the new technology which is under use, and this will bring a steel structure also in perspective, how it is impacting our business where return is becoming viable and is better compared to the conventional. So first, I mean, everybody knows that we started with load-bearing structure. All our 2-story, 3-story building in phase 1, phase 2 happens to be load-bearing structures, and cycle time was around a month. Then we practiced your beam slab combinations. If you see Bel Air, Park Place, and Icons, Beverly's, these are basically done on conventional beam and slabs. The cycle happens to be about 14 to 15 days. This was average cycle. We used in Crest, the building which I just recently sold, we changed to flat slab. Many people were reluctant, and there was a basically cost perspective. They said the flat slab is costlier than your beam slab. But if you see the ease of construction, it was phenomenal. We have achieved 7 days cycle for the top 10 floor, which was from 28 to 38 floor. And we completed building, if you compare with the earlier system, about 1 year ahead. Now, going forward, you know, the way our asset development is taking all over India, especially in commercial. Residential, it is a very tricky situation to use basically complete steel building. But for asset class like offices where rental revenue is going to be key, and the payback period, if you can enhance, I mean, if it is faster, then our revenue would be far, far better. So we have experimented basically a steel building also, and that was basically a composite section. Pure steel building is still, again, viability is question mark. And the area where we have used various specialized kind of formwork like Maiwand and the other customized formwork, which was basically taken from Korea as well as US. The question is, are we sustainable in given environment if you don't use the technology? And with that, I also basically thought, let me bring a case study. So this is basically for commercial building, 3 basement, ground plus 19. 88 meter is basically the height. And the cost of construction is about 6,000 rupees a square foot. This is basically on eligible terms. If you take it on built up, it could be around 4,200 rupees a square foot. And conventional timeline was 31 months, but when we used your beam, your composite section, it came around 20 months. CapEx was around 1,560 crore for this building. And rental revenue was 365, about 125 rupees per square foot. This was the rental, and the payback period came around 4.3 years, which happens to be good about 1 year extra, you know, about 5.5. So our rental saving itself, you can see about 156 crore in a year. So the 1 year of saving has resulted about 156 crore of revenue advancement. And if you see all others basically saving, like if you add cost of project management consultings and the basically cost of funding, this touches about as good as about 156. So this gives you such a good advantage, in terms of overall cost and IRR. We are getting handsome about 10% per annum, and we decided that it is worth doing it, basically composite section instead of conventional building. So this has given cycle of about 7 days per, slab, 7 days. And you can see how the technology has changed, especially from the earlier era, doing 30 days to 15 days to 7 days. But I'm sure, I think you can bring it to 3 days if all of you are ready to do. And I can easily assure you that DLF got option to offer you to do the building. I'm sure people will be ready to undertake this assignment. And we have around 20 million square foot immediate potential in next 5 years, and next 10 years could be about 50 million square. This is our rental asset, not residential and commercial. And we have also used various kind of technologies, not about basically using only a steel, but it is very, very important to use the various technology like BIM, doing virtual your project management, designing, detailing, so that the people who are doer at site, they can understand and they can implement the way the project is envisaged. And apart from that, we have digitalizations. We have already taken initiative to do digitalization. Data automation is already there. And there is a plan to use artificial intelligence where we can easily basically use all the past data bank what DLF has done. The pre-IPO, it was around 300 million square foot yield, which have resulted. And after IPO, during 2007, we have produced almost about 137 million square foot. So you can see the way the size is increasing. And in India, if you see from construction industry perspective, still, I think construction and real estate both, they basically produce good about 14% of total GDP, which is currently about 20% in China. So there is no dearth of basically projects. There is no dearth of work. What we need to do is we need to take it to the next level where you can bring innovation in technology and you can use materials which is going to be sustainable. And you cannot basically win the projects only by doing this. So I thought of bringing all these elements which would be very, very vital for all of you who do a good business. So these are all basically a component. If you can use 3P concept, right from project management program to portfolio and strategy. And if you have unique strategy, even in your given business, I think you can win the business, and this will make you sustainable. So these are all basically various value chain, because everybody says that I got a strategy, but it is just jargons and it's just some statement which most of the people they use. And they say that, oh, I want to be the best in the industry, I want to be the best in something, where the reality is you can't be best everywhere. You can be the best in some of the area where you have all the activities where you're doing in a unique way. Even though two basically business houses are in the same industry, but if you use different kind of activity performance, if you use technology, I think you can really make sustainable business. These are value chains. If we're a real unique concept, and if you can perform all these activity across the value chains, the overall results will be phenomenal. Again, I just wanted to show you that who should do it and how should do it. You have to have a project life cycle, the way all of us, we have our own life cycles, and basically we adopt, whether you talk about dealing with your personal issues or even education also. don't think you can go to graduation level unless until you negotiate from primary, secondary, tertiary, and then the next level. So this life cycles is very important for all of us to apply throughout the life cycle, and these are the various stages, right from feasibility, financing, your design management, bid, construction, and delivery management. And if you can really use technology throughout the project life cycles and use all the processes, I think you can really become unique in your industry compared to your competitor. If you're really going to follow a concept of basically cutting prices, I don't think you will survive. This is a sort of scenario where you're leading to a zero-sum competitions, not a sort of value add in the business where you can be sustainable and the business can be sustainable. These are again the life cycles and various knowledge landscape you should use. And most of the time, I think in India, I've seen when I came here, economy was booming. The feasibility was terrible. I mean, we were also part of the journey. DLF also made a lot of mistakes. We used to only crazy about what kind of financial number we are going to get, means financial feasibility, how much return we are going to get, forgetting that the particular assignment or the project, is it viable? Can it be built? No technical feasibility, no demand feasibility, no social feasibility, no legal feasibility. Only we wake up when we see the problems. But that's not the right way to do the business. You have to do a proper feasibility. So these are the sound practices which has been adopted globally. When I was in Singapore, Malaysia, and I had opportunity to work with all the best project management consultant, your management consultant, Ben, Boston, McKinsey. I think the processes are very, very important to get the results. Many people, they don't basically follow the process. And the most important thing in business, so these are basically, again, this is in financing, what do you do, what kind of financing option is, in statutory management, these are the key basically statutory issues which is applied in real estate. Design management, the various stages, again, you have a different kind of life cycle which you should adopt and negotiate it, bid, construction, delivery. So the important elements basically in business is you have to have processes right. And you have to have basically people who can drive with discipline following the processes and all. Most of the time, all of us basically, we don't give importance to the people. People are the one who basically make your business make or break. And if you have people who got very sound basically characters, they have element of, I have characterized a 5D philosophy, 5P philosophy, which is used in many organizations and they have got success. Like if you have a people who got dedication, devotion, determination, discipline, and diligence, I think nothing is going to fail if you have that level of basically competence. And most of the time we ignore basically character compared to competence. Character is definitely important. If you give the weightage compared to all skills and competence, you need to have a characters who can really drive all these assignments. So what is the way forward in the given scenario where our country definitely need development? If you see the potential in construction, we are aiming for $1.5 trillion construction spend in next 5 years, which started, I think, 11th five-year plan was around hardly about $500 million, and the 12th five-year plan was about I think $550 billion, and 12th was around $1 trillion. Now we are aiming for $1.5 trillion. So how we are going to basically solve this problem for the industry, where you might have noticed from the government paper that most of the projects has been delayed. Even in real estate industry today, most of the realtors are facing problem because of the delivery. Nobody is delivering the projects in time. That's why you can see most of the problems is leading to NCLT, and most of the developers, they are on jail, you know. And the need of the hour is we need to have a sound way forward where we can use technology right from your digitalization, your automation, artificial intelligence, and the best of the best material selections, and the best of the best basically processes, the best practices which is being adopted. And if you can do that, I don't think there is issue to get success. And with this, you can definitely get a sustainable return in your business. So this was the mix of basically our process thought, technology, system, and also it was adding a perspective to your steel industry. And I'm really keen to see what are the best options available in steel technology, because we have option of about 20 million square foot in our commercial. And if you have solution, if you can bring 3 days cycle, there is a business for you. With this, I would like to end my presentation. Thanks all of you.